Okay, let's unpack this. I think we need to start today by just setting the scene. It's a Saturday morning in the Pacific Northwest. You've got your coffee, you're feeling good, the rain has momentarily stopped, and you decide to take a little stroll around your house.
I know exactly where this is going. This is the walk of shame.
It really is. You look up at the gutters, and there's like a small ecosystem growing out of them.
Uh-huh.
You look at the windows, and they're just covered in this film of green algae and road grime. You look at the roof, and the moss is so thick it looks like a hobbit lives there. And you just get that sinking feeling in your stomach.
It's the sigh of deferred maintenance.
Hmm.
It's that heavy realization that your single biggest financial investment, your home, is, well, it's currently being slowly devoured by nature.
Exactly. And that feeling usually leads to two panic responses. Option A. You go to the garage, you grab a ladder that is probably too short, and you spend your entire weekend risking your life to scrape muck out of a trough.
Right. Or option B,
Or option B, you wait for one of those flyers to show up in your mailbox, the handwritten ones that say, I'll clean anything for 50 bucks, and you hire a total
the
stranger.
panic hire. We have all been there.
But today, we are doing a deep dive into a third option. We're looking at a company called Kelian Cleaning Services, based out of Seattle.
Mhm.
And the reason we're talking about them isn't just because they clean windows, it's because when you look at their operational overview, their safety certs, their whole business philosophy, they're doing something different.
They really are. I went through their website, their source documents, and what's fascinating is they aren't positioning themselves as just a cleaning crew. They are essentially an asset preservation company.
Asset preservation.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot more dignified than spraying bird poop off the solar panels, which, to be fair, is also something they do.
It is, and we will get to the bird poop. It's actually chemically important, but that distinction matters. If you treat exterior maintenance as cleaning, it's a luxury, it's cosmetic. But if you treat it as asset preservation, it's an investment. It's about preventing damage.
So, the mission for this deep dive is to figure out what separates a pro from an amateur when it comes to maintaining a home. We're using Kelian, this family-owned business in Seattle, as our case study. We're going to talk about a rain guarantee that honestly blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to look at some OSHA certs, and we're going to break down why the cheap option is usually the most expensive one.
I'm ready. Let's get into it.
All right, segment one, beyond the bucket. When I first looked at Kelian, I thought, okay, window cleaners. And they do that, inside, outside, tracks, screens, the works. But their service menu is surprisingly dense.
It is. It's a full exterior envelope strategy. They
Weird.
list windows, gutters, roofs, solar panels, and pressure washing. But what struck me is how they describe the why behind these services.
Mm.
They pivot very quickly from, this looks nice, to, this keeps your house from falling apart.
Let's talk about the gutters first, because I feel like gutters are the thing everyone ignores until water is pouring onto their head at the front door.
Or into their basement. And that is the distinction Kelian makes in their source material. They explicitly state that gutter cleaning is more important than you can imagine.
That is a strong phrase for a gutter.
It is, but think about it. They don't say clean gutters increase curb appeal. They say dirty gutters cause significant home damage and financial loss.
Walk me through that. How does a leaf in a gutter lead to, financial loss?
It's all about water diversion. Your roof collects a massive amount of water during a Seattle rainstorm. The gutter's only job is to take that water and move it away from the house.
Okay.
If the gutter is clogged with moss or sludge or leaves, the water just spills over the edge.
Right, the waterfall effect.
Exactly. And that waterfall hits your siding, which can lead to rot behind the paint. Or even worse, it pools right at the foundation of your house. Over time, that water creates hydrostatic pressure that cracks your foundation.
So paying a couple $100 to clear the gutters is basically insurance against a $20,000 foundation repair.
Precisely. That is the asset preservation mindset. You aren't paying for clean metal channels. You're paying to keep your basement dry.
The same logic seems to apply to their roof cleaning service. They mention removing moss and algae not just for aesthetics, but to stop premature roof replacement.
And this is crucial in the Pacific Northwest. We think of moss as this, cute cottagecore aesthetic, but moss is a sponge. It holds moisture against the shingles.
Which I assume is bad.
It's terrible. It lifts the shingles up, allowing water to get underneath, and it essentially composts your roof material. Kelian's approach is to remove that biological growth so the roof lasts its intended 25 or 30 years, rather than rotting out in 15.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, I want to pivot to something that feels very modern in their service list: solar panel cleaning.
This is a huge one, and honestly, it's the one homeowners get wrong the most often.
I feel like people, myself included, install solar panels and think, great, free energy forever, I never have to touch them again. It's the Ron Popeil mentality.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it.
Which is a lovely fantasy, but a costly one. Kelian's documentation breaks down exactly why that's wrong. They list the specific contaminants, rain stains, accumulated dust, and everyone's favorite bird droppings.
It is always the birds. They seem to target them.
They really do. But here's the technical insight that I love seeing them address. Solar panels often work in strings or in series. So if you have a big splat of bird droppings on just one cell, it doesn't just turn off that one little square.
It doesn't.
No, it can create resistance that drags down the efficiency of the entire panel, or even the whole string of panels. It's like stepping on a garden hose. The flow stops everywhere, not just under your foot.
So one dirty spot is actually costing you money every hour the sun is shining.
Exactly. It's called partial shading. And beyond just losing power, Kelian points out that this dirt accumulation can actually damage the panels. That resistance creates heat hotspots, which can burn out the cells permanently.
So when they go up there to clean, they aren't just making them shiny, they're essentially performing maintenance on a power plant.
That is the perfect way to frame it. You're running a power plant on your roof. You have to maintain the equipment if you want the yield.
They also mention pressure washing for sidewalks, stairways, and yards. And I have to mention this little gem in their copy. They said, doing pressure washing baby yourself may not bring the quality results.
I caught that. I assume they meant by yourself, but baby yourself is fantastic advice.
Treat yourself, don't pressure wash. But seriously, is there a real difference there? I can rent a power washer at the hardware store for $50. Why shouldn't I just blast the driveway myself?
You can, and you can also destroy your property in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The difference is understanding pressure versus volume. An amateur usually cranks the pressure, the PSI, way too high because they want to see the dirt fly off.
Because it's satisfying.
It is satisfying until you realize you just etched your concrete. You know those ugly zebra stripes you see on driveways? That's from amateur pressure washing.
Yeah.
You've literally stripped the top layer of the cement.
Oh.
Or worse, if you pressure wash siding, you can force water behind the weather barrier and cause mold inside your walls.
Yikes. Okay.
Professionals like Kelian use specific tips and usually a soft wash technique where cleaning agents do the heavy lifting, not just brute force. It cleans without the damage. Again, it's about protecting the asset, not just attacking the dirt.
Okay, so we've established that they know how to clean, they have the technical chops, but here is where it gets really interesting. We need to talk about the rain guarantee.
This jumped out at me immediately. It's such a bold policy.
We are talking about Seattle, Washington. It rains constantly. The number one reason I don't clean my windows is that I look at the forecast and think, well, it's just going to rain on Tuesday, so why bother?
It is the standard homeowner paralysis. Why wash the car if it's going to rain? Same logic.
But Kelian has a specific policy for this. Their source material states, we guarantee to come back and touch up your affected windows if it rains the next day after service has been provided.
It's incredibly smart business. Think about the consumer psychology. How many people in Seattle put off window cleaning because they're trying to time the market, waiting for that one elusive week of perfect sun in July?
All of us. We all do that. And then the bookings are probably impossible to get in July.
Exactly. By offering this guarantee, Kelian removes the weather risk from the customer. You can book them in November or March, knowing that if the Seattle weather does its thing, you aren't wasting your money.
But how do they afford to do that? I mean, if it rains in Seattle, aren't they just re-cleaning windows every single day for free?
You would think so, but there's actually some physics at play here that they're banking on.
Hit me with the physics.
Okay, so rainwater is actually relatively clean. It's just distilled water falling from the sky. What makes windows look dirty after it rains isn't the water itself. It's the dust and grime already on the window.
Oh, interesting.
When rain hits a dirty window, it mixes with that dust, turns it into mud, and then dries into those ugly spots. But if a window is professionally cleaned, I'm talking squeegeed, pure water, no residue, when rain hits it, the water just sheets off or beads up and dries clear.
So clean windows don't get spotted by rain?
Not really. They get spotted by dirt mixed with rain. So by offering the guarantee, Kelian is actually proving that their cleaning method works. They know that if they do the job right, the rain won't ruin it.
That is a huge takeaway. It's not just a marketing gimmick, it's confidence in their technique.
Exactly. And for the consumer, it removes that anxiety. It signals that they care about the longevity of the result.
And it's backed up by their general satisfaction policy, too. I saw they have a 48-hour promise.
Right. If you aren't happy, if you spot a streak or a missed corner, you call back within 48 hours and they'll stop by to fix it. It creates a trust relationship where the client knows they won't be ghosted the moment the van drives away.
Speaking of the van and the business side of things, let's talk money, because we mentioned the random guy with a flyer earlier.
The I can beat any estimate guy.
Kelian actually addresses this head-on in their FAQ section. There's a question that simply asks, I received an estimate that is lower rate than yours. Why is that?
I love when businesses are transparent about this. Instead of getting defensive, they just break down the math.
And the math is educational for any homeowner. They explain that their price isn't just profit. It covers labor and salaries, living wages, essentially. But then they list the overhead that the flyer guy usually skips.
And this is where the listener needs to pay close attention, because this is where you get into trouble.
Let's list these out. First, they mentioned 3 different insurances.
3. That's robust. We're likely talking about general liability, workers' compensation, and commercial auto.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate. Why do I, as the homeowner, care if the window cleaner has insurance? Isn't that his problem? If he falls, he falls.
That is the single most dangerous misconception in home maintenance. If you hire a flyer guy and he falls off his ladder and breaks his leg on your driveway and he doesn't have workers' comp, guess who is liable?
Don't tell me it's me.
It is often you. In many legal jurisdictions, if you hire an uninsured worker, you effectively become his employer for that job. You could be on the hook for his medical bills, his lost wages, his rehabilitation. We're talking potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That makes saving $50 on the window cleaning estimate seem pretty stupid.
It's catastrophic risk. Kelian is paying for those 3 insurances so that you don't have to carry that risk. That is what you're paying for. You aren't just paying for clean glass. You're paying for the transfer of liability.
That alone is worth the price difference.
Then they list mobile gas, vehicle costs, taxes, and materials. And they explicitly state, we don't have any hidden fees. They are fully licensed and insured.
So when you hire the super cheap option, you aren't saving money. You're just assuming the liability and hiring someone who probably isn't paying taxes or carrying insurance.
Precisely. It comes back to that difference between price and value. The price is what you pay today. The value is what you get, which includes peace of mind.
Now, speaking of safety and liability, I found a specific document in the source material that I think is really cool. It's a certificate.
The OSHA certificate. This is a crucial piece of evidence.
It's a certificate of completion for David Kelian, who is the owner.
Right.
It certifies that he completed the OSHA 10-hour outreach training program general industry. The completion date is right there, February 2nd, 2022.
So why does this matter to a customer? It shows that safety isn't just a buzzword for them, it's a curriculum.
What exactly is OSHA 10? Is it just watching a video?
No, it's a federal safety program.
Yeah.
The OSHA 10-hour course covers fall protection, electrical safety, hazard communication, ladder safety, personal protective equipment. It's the real deal.
And the date matters too, right? 2022.
It does. It means he didn't just rush to get this yesterday because we were poking around. He's been operating with this formal safety training for years. It's embedded in the company culture.
And climbing up to clean a roof or gutters is dangerous work.
It is consistently ranked as one of the most dangerous jobs in residential service. Falls from height are the #1 cause of injury in construction and maintenance.
So knowing that the owner, David, has undergone formal federal safety training signals a level of professionalism that goes way beyond, I'm good with a ladder.
It connects back to that idea of trust. They're a family-owned business, and they want to do this safely and correctly. It protects the worker, but again, it protects the homeowner. Accidents on your property are a nightmare, emotionally and financially. Hiring a safety-certified professional mitigates that significantly.
Let's talk about that human element a bit more. We mentioned David Kelian. It seems like he's very hands-on.
He is. We have a testimonial from a client named Diane A. that gives us a glimpse into the actual customer experience.
I read that. She said David arrived right on time, which, let's be honest, in the service industry, that is half the battle. If a contractor shows up when they say they will, I'm already 90% happy.
It sets the tone for respect. But look at the detail she provided. She said he was pleasant and professional, but she specifically noted that after he cleaned the solar panels, He made sure to show her the panels to ensure she was satisfied.
I really appreciated his honesty. That's what she wrote.
That transparency again.
Oh.
Think about it. Diane probably isn't climbing up on the roof to check his work.
Right.
He could have easily just wiped them with a rag or not touched them at all and said, all done. But he took the time to verify the work with the client. That aligns with their mission statement about building a trust relationship, so clients don't get a headache.
No headaches is a great business goal. I also want to mention their service area because I looked at the list of cities and
Yeah.
wow,
It is extensive.
they are everywhere. Seattle, obviously, but also Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland, Renton. Then they go out to Bainbridge Island.
Which involves a ferry ride. That's a commitment.
Exactly. And down to Des Moines, up to Shoreline and Linwood. I'm just thinking about the Seattle traffic involved in covering that map. If you know, you know. Getting from Renton to Shoreline at 4 p.m. is not a drive, it's a spiritual journey.
It shows they have a robust mobile operation. They aren't just working a 5-block radius. And they have a physical presence too. Their address is listed as 600 First Ave, Suite 102 in Seattle. So they're a legitimate, grounded local business, not just a P.O. box or a website.
So bringing this all together, we started by asking what distinguishes a pro from a casual cleaner. And I feel like Kelian has given us a really solid checklist.
I think they provide 3 distinct pillars that any homeowner should look for, regardless of who they hire.
Hit me with them.
Pillar 1, technical expertise. Do they understand the why? Do they know that gutters are for drainage, not just looks? Do they understand solar panel efficiency? Kelian clearly does. They aren't just washing, they're maintaining.
Pillar 2.
Risk management. This is the big one. Do they have the insurance to protect you? Do they have the OSHA training to protect themselves? And do they have guarantees, like the rain guarantee to protect your investment?
And the third.
Transparency. Are they open about their pricing structure? Do they explain why they cost what they cost? Kelian's FAQ section is a masterclass in this. They don't hide the overhead. They explain it as a value add.
It's really refreshing. I love the phrasing they use in their About section. Our goal is to achieve a smile on your face. It's simple, almost cheesy, but combined with all that technical stuff, the OSHA training, the insurance, the physics of rain, it feels genuine.
It does. It validates the idea that hiring for value, hiring the insured, trained professional, is actually the more economical choice over time. You aren't paying for a clean, you're paying for peace of mind and asset protection.
Plus, if it rains the next day, they come back. I still can't get over that. That is the ultimate peace of mind in the Pacific Northwest.
It really is the standout feature. It turns the biggest negative of the region, the rain, into a trust-building exercise.
So here is a question for you to mull over as you look out at your own potentially dirty windows or that mossy roof. We often look for the cheapest bid for home maintenance, instinctively. We want to save $50.
We do.
But when we consider the physical risks of climbing on roofs or the financial cost of damaged solar panels or a lawsuit from an uninsured worker falling in your driveway, can we actually afford not to hire the insured professional?
That is the real cost-benefit analysis. The cheap option is often the riskiest gamble you can make with your home.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive on Kelian Cleaning Services. Go check your gutters.
But do it safely, from the ground.
Exactly. Keep your feet on the ground. See you next time.